nerdy news?
Yes, I think we should get into the news.
So I'm going to start with the thing that I've sent you during recording.
Yes, I've seen.
A table has been released of how much it would cost different studios to meet the WGA's demands versus their annual revenue, and then as a cost percentage of their revenue.
Okay.
So, for Disney to meet their demands, it would cost them $72 million a year.
Seems hefty.
Their annual revenue is $82 billion a year,
Not so
making the burden on Disney 0.088%.
But Disney's struggling so much, Connor.
Yeah. For Netflix to meet the demands, it would require 0.206% of their revenue.
But they got all those new accounts.
0.2%. The crazy thing is, I'm looking at this list. 0.2% is the highest it will cost to anyone.
And I'm glad it's Netflix.
Yeah. Warner Bros. Discovery.
0.1%.
Paramount. 0.14%. NBC Universal 0.027%. Amazon 0.006%. Amazon should be championing for this to happen because it's going to hurt them less than anyone else, and they can use it to get more of a foothold in the content world.
It's pocket change for Bezos, that.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Sony 0.027%. And then Apple 0.004%.
Also another person I'm surprised they aren't chomping at the bit.
They're not even going to notice it. They're about to sell a whole bunch of new iPhones that will cover.
They're about to sell a bunch of Apple Vision Pros that will cover it now. Yeah, it's wild when put in that context of like
the absolute highest as a percentage of their revenue it will cost any single one of them is 0.26%. If your margins are so razor thin that you can't afford 0.2% of your revenue to go towards a pay increase for the people making your content, you shouldn't exist.
The fact that it's wild when you look at some of the revenues that some of these ones are getting, like, and then it's like the percentage and put in that context of what the actors and writers and everyone's asking for. It's like, how is this even a question?
Yeah, it's outrageous, and I just whether you like all the stuff their studios are producing, whether you think the writers aren't producing high enough quality at the minute because you're not happy with certain shows, forcing these people to not be able to live is not the way to get better content.
And do you want to know why the economies around the world are shitting the bed? Because big corporations care more about their profits and not putting that money back in. All they have to do is put like Disney, 0.08% back into the business. Like, I'm sorry, no fucking shareholder is even going to notice that money not.
No.
Like they're like
it's and also, let's be honest, if you're one of the first companies to jump on this bandwagon, if you're Amazon, and you go, we'll agree to that, even if they don't, and then you get them to agree to let you resume working.
Yeah.
Like they've done with smaller studios who've agreed. Yeah, smaller studios who it will have been more than them tiny percentages, by the way. and then Amazon gets to keep working on all their shows and putting them out. They get a market advantage because they're the ones bringing out new stuff that's high quality. But they can also absolutely get an agreement with the WGA to put in all their adverts, WGA partner or whatever, so that everyone who wants to be like an ethical consumer can go, Amazon have worked with them.
Here's the thing as well, like, it's a smart business play to get in first because, let's be real, the public perception will, we all still will hate them, they're corporations, but we're going to be like, okay, at least Amazon got on first, good for them. Also, there's a lot of writers that will have shows they've been pitching to these studios, trying to sell them, but haven't come to any deals yet. There's probably the next big show sitting amongst them that Netflix or anybody, whoever goes first and gets the book, like things moving again, all those writers that have shows they want to pitch are going to go, hi, Amazon, we have a show, and Amazon's going to have pickings because no one else can like see them yet.
And if they pick the right stuff, they can get the next 10 smash hits all to themselves before anyone's even had a chance to try and outbid.
So it's like, it's wild to me. I mean, Apple, I'm not surprised they don't give a shit. Like, Apple TV is such a small part of their business, they're probably not paying enough attention to this. But the likes of like Amazon, who have, Prime has been on, like, if you think about it, Prime has definitely been on the back. It's been like number 3 after Netflix and Disney. They've been constantly trying to get the shows over to them, get the bigger shows. Yes, they've had some successes with The Boys and stuff, but like, it makes sense for like Amazon to be like,
this would be a perfect time to make the move. And let me be completely clear here: Amazon is a horrific company that should not be allowed to exist. The amount of money it makes allows it to undercut everyone, and it hurts overall economic growth. That's basic numbers. If you don't understand that, I don't have the time to explain it to you. They are anti-consumerism. They are bad for the world.
But
if you're going to be bad for the world and just care about making money, this is their best opportunity in the media space they've had so far.
Also, if it means they can screw over Netflix or Disney, I'm all for it. Because corporations screwing over other corporations is great.
Exactly. But now onto the news that we had planned.
Yes.
I have made a very concerted effort to not slander Zack Snyder because of his fans being dipshits.
Okay.
Any complaints I have about Zack Snyder, I try to lead to complaints about Zack Snyder. Like, some of the films I didn't enjoy. I think Batman vs. Superman is a steaming pile of shit. But his version of the Justice League I very much enjoyed. And Man of Steel I very much enjoyed.
Yep.
His fans might be the worst version of film bros. I find Scorsese fans unbearable. I find Tarantino fans unbearable. I would rather live in a world populated solely by them people than ever have to interact with a Zack Snyder fanboy again.
I think that's valid.
The trailer for his Star Wars film that is not a Star Wars film, Rebel Moon, got released. It looks interesting. I will give it a watch. I shit you not. I saw no less than 15 different accounts quote retweet that trailer and go, Zack Snyder's going to go bigger than Star Wars.
Yeah, okay, good joke.
My brother in Christ, you think Zack Snyder, who managed to crash and burn DC, is going to, alongside Netflix, create a franchise that will usurp Star Wars?
No chance.
I'm not a big fan of calling people delusional for what they enjoy. That is delusional.
Yeah, thinking that you are going to trump a franchise as big and as ingrained as Star Wars, it's just not fucking happening. Especially not on Netflix, the platform that is dying.
Do you know what's more likely to happen? A bunch of Star Wars fans who hate Disney Star Wars are going to watch it and go, okay, we're sorry, you guys were right. That is genuinely more likely.
Yeah.
But the problem is, there's this weird cult of personality around Zack Snyder, and I don't think it's his fault, because he doesn't actually do anything to create this cult of personality around himself.
Do you know
He's a really chill guy.
All I think this spawned from was like him saying one time that like, oh, there's a cut that I have of Justice League that we didn't end up doing. That was more my version. And then everyone's like, oh my god, Zack Snyder has had the real picture, and then they now think he's this like has this insane vision for everything. And all the studios are putting him down. And it's like, no.
I'm gonna look at Zack Snyder films real quick. Let's have a fucking look here and see what we think. Okay. What's he got credits for? So he did The Watchmen.
Okay.
A film I do enjoy.
Yeah.
However, that the person who wrote the comic book fucking hates it. So take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
He did the 300 films. Good action films, not a lot more to them.
Yeah.
Then he did the Army of stuff for Netflix. Army of the Dead, Army of Thieves. Army of Thieves was a TV show, which is a prequel to Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead is mid as fuck.
I never.
It's okay. It has its moments. Overall, it is mid as fuck.
Okay.
Army of Thieves I haven't watched. I've heard nothing of it. I'm giving it no energy.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch, widely regarded as a piece of shit. I don't think that's a hot take. It's really weirdly sexualizing a very young actress at the time and just weird.
Okay, yeah, like, I don't know anything about that. That's weird as fuck.
I don't know anyone who likes that that's not a bit weird. Then you've got Batman versus Superman. For some reason, people are trying to convince the internet that was a good film. It's not. It's a piece of shit. That is, I remember it vividly. That is the first time I ever left the cinema angry.
I remember seeing that and thinking, DC's not like.
It's not competing.
No. I was like, Marvel's doing so much better than this shit.
That is the first time I've ever left the cinema angry. The second time and the last time I've left the cinema angry was watching Justice League. Not his version, but it was Joss Whedon's take of his version. Joss Whedon did make it infinitely worse, but it's very important to remember Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League was not actually the cut he told us existed because he did shoot extra stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So he had the chance to read what the internet said and make tweaks. So I'm not willing to give that too much credit. Yes, it's good.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't need to be 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man of Steel, I would say, is probably his only film that I think is comfortably very, very good.
Yeah.
He's also, however, involved in David Ayer's Suicide Squad and the Wonder Woman films. I don't know if that's just as a producer because he was like the head of DC or whatever.
Possibly.
I'm not impressed. He doesn't impress me.
No.
I will watch Rebel Moon. I would give it a chance because there are moments in Zack Snyder films I really enjoy. There is a chance Rebel Moon will be very good.
Yeah.
How dare Snyder fanboys even think this is going to get close to the power of Star Wars?
Do you know what my worry with it though is? It's like, because he wanted it. It was the Star Wars film he wanted to make, right?
Yeah.
I worry
they didn't want it, so he's retweaked it.
I worry that he's not tweeted enough, and I'm gonna watch it. Or if I go to watch it, I'm just gonna be like, he's trying to rip off Star Wars.
No, I've watched the trailer. It's stylistically very different.
Okay.
The only issue I have with the trailer is the clothes look too normal.
Okay.
Like, you know when you're trying to set a sci-fi world where you've got laser swords.
Yeah.
And you've got blasters and you've got spaceships dogfighting.
Yeah.
Why am I still seeing a man walk around in what looks like a normal military uniform?
I know what you mean. Yeah. The costume, yeah.
And I don't know if it was just like a couple of bad shots have made it look worse.
Maybe.
But that's the only thing that looked a bit off to me. But that wouldn't be enough to make me go, it's shit. That'd be like maybe you could do that differently.
Yeah.
But it'll be good, I'm sure. I know I've just cooked his entire career. I do actually overall think he's okay. Schneider fanboys need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, they need to just take it down a peg. But
Yes, 100%. This is really interesting to me, and I'm curious to see how it goes. Trailer for a live-action Fallout series was shown at Gamescom.
so yeah, I knew this was being made, and apparently there's a lot of practical sets and stuff.
Yes. Would you like to know
Go on.
the one potentially panic-inducing thing that's already come out about this, though?
Okay.
The poster for it. Obviously, it's like 1950s themed.
Mm-hmm.
The car in the background and other cars look like they might be AI generated.
Oh. Why? There's just no need, if that's the case.
Do you know what the problem seems to be? People are making TV shows out of video games.
Yeah.
And they all seem to assume that they've got the next The Last of Us
Yeah.
and not the next Halo.
Yeah.
And I think they should assume they've got the next Halo until they're confident they've got the next Last of Us.
The issue is the people that made Halo think it was a success.
Is anything that's put on Paramount Plus allowed to be considered a success? I think
the only show
anything on Paramount Plus is a failure.
The only show I know that is considered successful on Paramount is Yellowstone. That's the only show I've heard about from Paramount.
Paramount Plus TV shows. What have they got?
Yellowstone's the TV ranch shows. Cowboy.
Yeah, they've got Yellowstone. They've got some Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
They've got Billions, but you can watch that other places. They've got South Park, which isn't a Paramount Plus original.
No, they've just got.
They've got Dexter, not a Paramount Plus original. Am I seeing anything original, like Halo. Actually original here? 100% original. I'm not seeing anything. They do have original Star Trek series that weren't aired anywhere else first, but it's still Star Trek.
Yellowstone was always theirs. I think.
Yellowstone is absolutely original,
and then a Halo series, obviously.
And Halo. That seems to be.
Yeah, I worry. Like, I'm not a huge Fallout fan. I was more of an Oblivion, Skyrim fan.
Yeah,
and I feel like people are always one or the other more so.
Yeah, I played Fallout 4. At the time, that was the most hours I'd put into a single-player RPG, and that was about 400.
Yeah, see, I did like that, but on Oblivion and Skyrim.
Yeah.
I am, like you say, concerned it most likely is going to be the next Halo. It's without seeing the trailer, I guess some people that have seen, like, I worry the Fallout fans are not going to be happy with it.
So here's the thing with Fallout. It has the perfect amount of story for an open world RPG where you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
To turn that then into a very specific story for a TV show that is compelling is tricky. Not impossible, but tricky.
Yeah.
Whereas The Last of Us, that was written as a story and they made the gameplay work around the story, which is why that has adapted so well into a TV show.
Yeah. I think
it's the same reason, pardon the arse about face way this will come across, that you could take the Spider-Man games and turn them into a film or story, is because they've decided they want to tell a Spider-Man story and then they put gameplay around it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's easier for Spider-Man because there's so much material there anyway, but the games where story, how do we fit gameplay in, are going to do infinitely better.
I mean, there's definitely ways they could tell stories in the Fallout universe. There's 100%. The whole, like, different vaults all over the place. Like, if they wanted to, they could tell a story about a singular vault somewhere that we don't know about, and it would work. They just, if they stray too far away from what is accepted as like how the world works in Fallout by the gamers. Like, this is what happened in Halo. Everyone has a base understanding of how Master Chief operates, taking his
Like
helmet
not
off
taking his helmet off.
and sleeping with random women.
Yeah.
As soon as you cross those things, because you don't think the source material is good enough to follow, you instantly alienate a fan base, and they're not going to like your adaptation.
And it comes across as a money grab.
Yes.
But
So
that's
maybe we'll be
being
surprised.
pessimistic.
Yeah,
But
we've
it's
been
not shown
burnt.
us anything to be optimistic about.
Yeah.
So, Barbie, the absolute Giga Chad Warner Brothers movie of the decade, is getting a 1-week IMAX stint back in cinemas at the end of September with bonus footage.
Interesting.
I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the audience that primarily made Barbie its money
We'll come back.
is going to give a fuck about paying to see it again in a more expensive ticket to watch it in IMAX for bonus footage.
When is it coming to digital?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I'm pretty sure it's September something.
5th of September.
So it'll already have been on digital.
Yeah.
So all the people that didn't see it in the cinema will have watched it at home.
Yes.
The
only people I see going to see this are film bros who will always want to watch stuff in IMAX. And because it's now done so well, they want to go see it just to hate it.
Possibly, yeah. It also just feels like people. It feels like they're just trying to bump up their sheets to say this made more money.
The final earnings of The Flash are fully in now. They know how much money they lost on that sumbitch. They need to make some more money.
They're milking it for everything they can, which isn't a surprise. I don't think the IMAX stint's going to make them that much more.
I don't either. I don't think it's going to hurt any other films, though. I don't think there's any other films coming out that would compete with it in that way. So I don't think it's going to hurt any other films, so I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
If they timed it with when it was coming out on, or just before it was going to be on digital, like the week before, I'd have been like, oh, okay, they're pushing, like keeping it relevant, so everyone's like, oh, I could go watch an IMAX, or they'll go get it on digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit of a weird one.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
Monday, just gone. Beginning of this week, Monday, marked 25 years since Wesley Snipes' iconic Blade movie came into cinemas. What would you have been, Hori? 27, 28?
64.
I'm gonna open myself up for a bit of hate here.
Oh.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Blade?
Never seen the original Blade trilogy. And I'd like to point out I am 23 years old. That came out 25 years ago. And it's an 18. So by the time, like, I would have been old enough where I'd be, like, interested in seeing that, 14, 15, we were deep in the middle of the MCU. I didn't give a fuck.
I've seen the Blade trilogy.
At some point, I will watch the Blade Trinity. Trilogy. Sorry,
it is
Trinity.
A great film.
The first one and second one, based on what I've heard, are very good, and the third
one I don't really have much memory of the third one, probably because I didn't.
By the time we got to the third one, Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes refused to be in scenes together. And Wesley Snipes refused to turn up for rehearsal. He'd smoke weed in his trailer and then walk out to do it. He'd give them 1, maybe 2 takes if they were lucky, and they had to make one of them work.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but
yeah,
it's been 25 years. We're still waiting for the new Blade to get its script.
Yeah, not looking good out here.
Maybe one,
but we'll work it out. One thing I'm very excited for:
Yeah, I haven't seen
We have
this.
got our first trailer for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which is, of course, the Disney Plus series coming in December following the Percy Jackson books. It looks good. I'm hyped.
I need to watch the trailer. I never read the Percy Jackson books.
I didn't read the books. I watched the films, which I thought were pretty decent. But I know the author who is working on this wasn't happy with the films, and I know the fans were like, they were kind of cool, but they were very much made for tweens instead of honoring the material.
Yeah, I think I watched the first film potentially, but also because I didn't know the books, I was like, I don't know much about this. I will check out the trailer. Maybe I'll watch it. We'll see. I know people are
Depends how
excited for it.
desperate we are for content.
This is true. If we're in a drought, which I don't think we will be,
Yeah, we'll work it out.